Welcome back to This Week in Agribusiness. Each year, resistant weeds across the country wreak havoc on farm operations and, it turns out, on farmers' bottom lines. Max had the chance in our most recent Plan Smart, Grow Smart series to talk with Matt Malone at BASF about how they're helping farmers address resistance.
Talk with me about Liberty Ultra.
Well, Liberty Ultra is something that we are very excited to launch here at BASF. This is the result of a lot of R&D, a lot of formulation work, and a lot of development by the aggregate BASF organization. But most importantly, it represents a new tool to the American farmer to address resistant weed pressure.
Let's identify the culprits, those resistant weeds.
Most farmers would probably tell you some of their biggest weeds are things like kochia, giant ragweed, or Palmer amaranth. But I would say public enemy number one from a resistant weed standpoint today is still probably water hemp for many farmers across the country. Fortunately, BASF has a host of different offerings today that continue to be effective. Things like our residual portfolios in the form of Zidua and Outlook herbicides, as well as our knockdown offerings like Ingenia and Liberty. And starting in the season of 2024, we're going to be excited to offer Liberty Ultra as a new tool to address that very pest.
Those problematic weeds, if a grower doesn't control them, what are we talking about in terms of potential damage to the crop and the yield potential?
Every farmer's probably got a different number in mind, but the Weed Science Society of America has suggested that as much as 52.1% of top-line yield is at risk just from resistant weeds, particularly in late season pressure scenarios. Maybe to put that into a dollar figure amount, that's as much as $16 billion in value that's at risk every single season due to resistant weed pressure.
What are some of the factors that growers should take into consideration when they're looking at the herbicide product to control this kind of pressure?
It's important to look at weed control the way you would look at any other problem on your farm and having a variety of solutions at your disposal to address it. One of the nice things about a product like Liberty herbicide, though, is that it has a very uniform applicability across trait platforms. Whether using a Liberty Link, Enlist E3, or XtendFlex soybean acre, you can still use Liberty on that acre to get outstanding weed control against particularly those resistant weeds we were just talking about.
How is Liberty Ultra different than Liberty herbicide?
Liberty today is already an outstanding weed control offering, but Liberty Ultra does find a way to improve on that almost perfect control that we see out of Liberty in a lot of cases today. Liberty Ultra also features Glue-L technology, which is a proprietary process that refines the active ingredient from Liberty herbicide to reduce our use rate by about 25%. That means that the American farmer is going to get the same punch with 24 ounces of Liberty Ultra that they're used to getting with a 32-ounce rate of Liberty herbicide.
That's a huge story.
It's a huge story in terms of convenience, it's a huge story in terms of weed control, but ultimately it's a huge story and a win for BASF and the American farmer to finally have a new tool in that post-trait enabled acre on soybeans, cotton, corn, and of course canola.
Thank you, Max, for that update. And folks, if you'd like to see all the videos in our Plan Smart, Grow Smart series, visit the website, plansmartgrowsmart.com.